Tell 'em run it off.
What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it off.
What is going on? What is going on? Tech Thursday. Starting out a little late today. Tech Thursday. I'm actually reading the comments. You guys are quite funny. I need some lotion on. This is what I need today. I need lotion. My light's not on. Starting a little late, but that's okay. Got stuff to do, people to see, places to go. Let me get all my lights on here. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So I'm reading the comments. And look, the bottom line here is that sometimes being triggered leads to good things. I'm not saying it always happens that way, but sometimes, you could be, something could happen and it'll spark something else. I actually went back and I looked at the video. I always watch the show straight through, for a couple of reasons. One reason is I'm going to edit some of these videos out and then post them, which I will do today. This is my first official free day, of the week. Not really free day. I mean, I got meetings, but this is my first official free day. So I don't think it was that bad. Honestly, I watched it. I think it was fine. And I know some people were like, I'm glad I'm not here. You could have been there. I mean, it's not like it was you that was causing the problems. But it wasn't bad at all. So, every so often I'll go back and I'll look and I'll say, God, what did I say or do? Did I piss somebody off? Was I too hard on somebody? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Anyway, so today is Tech Thursday, DJ Tech Thursday. And we're going to get through this. We're definitely not staying on too long. Hey, you've never cussed. Well, that's not actually true. I've cussed plenty of times. Just every so often, it gets a little heated. I'm sorry. I'm looking at people texting me. I don't know why it's so complicated. See, this is my problem with people who wait to the last minute. So we have events this weekend, and my warehouse manager prepares all the equipment for the coming week. We ask specifically for the warehouse manager to be there on Tuesdays. Why on Tuesdays, do you ask? Because Tuesday gives us time, if there is a problem, to adjust for that problem. So Tuesday, there's a problem. We have Wednesday, Thursday, and up to Friday to rectify that problem before all of our events on Saturday. That's the plan. But I get messages today about damaged stuff. Today, it's Thursday. There's pretty much nothing I can do about damaged stuff today. I can't order a new front board. I can't order a new piece of equipment. It won't be here. And as you guys all know, unless you're getting XLR cables and power cords, you're pretty much asked out if you decide to go, I'll just go to Guitar Center. I'll just go to this. They don't really exist. They don't exist. Everything's online now. So this is why we need time to do these things. I have to laugh it off because at a certain point it just becomes humorous. It's one of the many joys of running a multi-op. One of the many joys. Because, you know, when it's just a one man or one company, sorry, my phone is beeping. One man or one company, you are stuck. I don't know. You can handle everything on your own. Even if you have multiple parties that weekend. You got a party on Friday, got a party on Saturday, got a party on Sunday. One man, one company, one group. You can do it on your own and it'll get done and it'll be perfect. When you start to move up and you're doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parties on a weekend, you need help. That help is always the problem, because that help, as good as they may be, for the most part, will never be as good as you. No matter how much you try to make it happen, they will never be as good as you. It was raining yesterday. My skin's all dry. I really do need to lotion up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm glad this isn't like a beauty channel, because I'd be getting roasted right now. So, I think what ends up happening is you're left kind of just accepting that there's going to be problems. And the only thing you really want to do is minimize the amount of problems that you're going to have. That's it. That's it. You put things in place to where even if something were to fail, you have failure points. They're not life or death failure points. Like, you can live with certain things. You know, I was just talking to, I was talking to somebody. Oh, I was talking to a photographer, because it's not just DJs that run into this. This weekend I was talking to a photographer that's been doing this for years, just like us. And, you know, the consensus is, and I hate, but did I say this? I really do. I hate the fact that I have to say, you know, this generation of kids, this generation of people, I hate that, because that's some stuff that my dad would say, your grandpa would say. You kids today, I hate that. But the facts are, the kids are different now. They're different. The people that are the workforce of this generation is completely different. That 18 to 30 they're not the same. They're not built the same. They are not built the same. You know, I mean, just now I have three MCs that called out for, whatever reason. I have one that injured his back, so he's not able to potentially work this weekend. So we have to swap him off. You got DJs that do a lot of things. I got a good core, but once you get outside of your core, like I got a good core of like teams of 6 or 6 teams, I should say. And that core is amazing. Once you get out of that, once I'm doing that 7th, that 8th party, even 7th and 8th is fine. Once I'm doing the 9th party, I start to get a little more nervous, because, the room for error starts to shrink. The more parties you do, the less room for error you have. So, like the weekends that I was doing, I never want to do, but I was doing, sorry, clients are texting me. Will you help me with doing this event? Anyway, I don't even know who this person is. Anyway, once you get up to a certain point, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what business you do, it starts to get a little scary. I don't even know who this person is, and they're texting me like we're best friends. This is the one problem with texting, allowing texting in your business. Anyway, I see the term lazy floating around. You know what? It's not lazy, because I think lazy is a term that has been used for generations. Anytime, a person comes out, oh, they're just lazy. It's not lazy. That's not the right word. Although, you do have lazy people. They exist. They're a part of infrastructure. It's not lazy. It's entitled. Sorry. Thought I heard my door. It's entitled. Entitled, I think, is the key word. It's this understanding that because they exist, there are certain benefits that they should have from the jump. I'm here. What more do you want from me? I think that's the biggest issue. I don't understand. I've done the job. Why haven't I gotten 17 raises? I think that's the key. Everybody just deserves more. No matter if it's valid or not. They just deserve more. I've said this, but I'll say it again. There's a very specific point when all this started. I can go back and look at all the major things that we've done that have happened, whether it be, entitlement, the racist movement that kind of kicked in over the last few years. The Me Too movement, I think, if I haven't said that yet. This thing, there are literal points in time when you can see it happening. This entitlement started very simply. It started with participation trophies. Right there. Participation trophies allowed all these kids today to think that they've earned something when they've done nothing. It started when people stopped telling kids that they're not good enough, that they need to work harder. They don't deserve what they think they deserve because they haven't done anything. That's where it started. So now the kids are out there like, well, I don't know. I went to school. I got my degree. Why am I not making $500,000 a year? I mean, you can see it on Instagram right now. All these comments and stuff. These people that are like 22 and 25 talking about, well, I won't even date anybody if they don't make $250,000. If you're not even making that, how are you even alive? Kill yourself. Like, that's literal stuff. Like, that is the most unrealistic thinking I've ever seen. That is not the real world. But they're not living in the real world because they were never told no. I tell my kids no all the time. Sometimes I tell them no just because. Can we do this? No. What? Why? What? We can't do it. What do you mean? We can't do it. We can do it. We can definitely do it. I tell them no anyway. I tell my wife, just tell them, sometimes when they're mad and they're pouting and have a temper tantrum, don't fix it. Let them just be. They need to learn. Failure leads to growth. If you don't fail, you cannot grow. I don't care what anybody says, but that is a fact. My kid right now, I'm like, you have to let him fail. Moms are the queens of trying to, and maybe dads too. They're the queens of trying to, fix every situation, reminding your child, you have to do this and you have to do that. And then, oh, you haven't done this. Let me go back and let's work through all this. You have to do this. You have to do this. And then they don't learn. So then when they don't fail, they never understand. And then you're just creating half an adult. They need failure to grow. In competition, you need to lose. So you can gauge where you are. You can gauge how you must improve. If you want to, obviously. I'm not saying that everybody needs to be the number one person. You can't all be number one. Nope, none of us can be number one. There's always somebody that's better. So we have to use those failure points or that realization that, oh my God, they're just better than me. No matter how hard I try, they're just better than me. And I have to come to this realization that I'm good, but they're better, and that's okay. Not everybody has to be the same, and you need to grow to appreciate that. And that's what that failure teaches you, that you're not going to be good at everything you want to do. Let's see. Rick Holmes says, there's a fine line, though. On one hand, you have 20-year-olds who want 17 raises just for showing up. Meanwhile, I've worked at my job for 18 years, very successful, mind you, and still haven't gotten one. Well, okay, so you're right. There is a fine line about that. I will say this, though, and I'm not telling you what to do. Remember this. If you've been at a company for 18 years and you haven't gotten a raise, it's not necessarily you that is the issue, but it's also not necessarily that you're not the issue. But if you feel that you've been kicking ass at your job for 18 years and they're not showing you that love and support and are willing to go out on the limb and say, hey, you know what? Here's more. Here's a raise. You've been here. You've been dedicated. Here's another raise. That's a question that you're going to have to ask yourself. Can you be valued differently if you were to go to a different company? Maybe they're just not valuing you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break it down to to that point where it's like, quit your job. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you might need to reevaluate. 18 years and no love is a big red flag for me. Losing is just learning what to do next. I like that. Professor BX in the building. You are the best. Stop being humble. I am definitely not the best. One of the reasons that I know I'm not the best is because I'm always knowing that there's things that I can do to be better. Can't be the best if I know there are things that I can be doing to be better. But I appreciate it. Like I said, I've been really good. Maybe it's the Capricorn in me, but I understand. I don't have any preconceived notions or anything. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm great at. And I know what I'm horrible at. And I just do a good job of masking what I'm horrible at and putting more on what I'm good at. So it's just, you live and learn. Mac Joseph comes out of the blue with Opus needs streaming and stems. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. It would be nice to have some streaming built into there. I think it's coming. I think it's just a matter of time. Obviously, they've just done that with the 3000s. I think I think it's just a matter of time. I think of all people that understand what it is needed is probably Pioneer DJ. I think they understand that, but they understand that better than most because the products that they come out with seem to understand it even when they're coming out. You know, they're good at looking at the big picture and saying, what do we need to improve? What do we need to enhance? That's Pioneer DJ's strong suit. But yes, I wouldn't mind seeing some streaming on Opus without having to use your computer. That's the key here. We're talking about in the box streaming. Bet you it will be in the firmware. Look, this is what I know. Okay? This is what I know. They avoid the big picture. Mac, you don't even like Pioneer. Just tell the truth. What DJ Don Rafa says, whatever happened to nobody is perfect? The new generation screwed that up because that's the new generation's full. It's weird because you got people that are like, you got like big contingent of people that are like, you know, you have to be perfect. I mean, since when did, what is that restaurant? I want to say CPK, but it's not CPK. Cheesecake Factory. Since when did Cheesecake Factory be for broke people? Since when did that happen? Where people are like, don't take me to Cheesecake Factory, you broke ass. When did that become a thing? Cheesecake Factory ain't cheap. It's not Cheap Skate Factory. That is a good amount of money being spent at Cheesecake Factory. I know. I go there with my family. I love me some Cheesecake Factory. I love me some Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory is becoming the new Olive Garden, which is already the Nickelback of chain restaurants. I haven't been to Olive Garden in decades. I'm not going to lie. Haven't been to Olive Garden. But back to my story. Shamari, thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate you. Back to what I was saying. This is the first year since pre-pandemic that we're back at NAMM in January. First year. So I would guess that we're going to see a lot of things happening this year. We're going to see a lot of things. That would be my guess. Now, as far as gear is concerned, if I were to predict gear, you know, that's a hard one. I'm looking around in all the DJ companies, but DJ equipment companies out there. And to be honest with you, I'm looking for like weak points. I'm having a hard time finding weak points. There's not really there's a couple of things that I would assume would be happening. One thing, I don't know about you guys. Has anybody heard from In Music in a while? Like, they got super quiet. Super quiet. I personally don't even know what's going on with them. They've literally left the earth. It's been really, really bizarre. I got to follow up with my guys. I'm going to text them today because I've got nothing. It's been real weird. Ever since the Pioneer DJ Serato purchase, they've gone dark. They've gone dark. But I'll tell you what I think everybody needs. I'll try to anyway. I'll think about it. I believe that In Music needs another. I think Queso said that. A Denon Prime Go 2. They absolutely need a Denon Prime Go 2. I think if it were at all possible, I think that they need a new Rain 1. And it doesn't even have to be a 4-channel. I hope it's not a 4-channel. They need a new Rain 1 with that's a little bigger, with onboard effects. I think that's really all they need. And I think that would sell very, very well. Serato absolutely needs an update. It's nothing new. They know this. We know this. Their mama knows this. It'll happen at some point. But not today. Pioneer DJ. What does Pioneer DJ need? You know, Pioneer DJ needs a battery powered controller also. I mean, technically, if they wanted to come out with the S11 MK2, they could. There's some tweaks that could be made to the S11 to just make it continue to be the best mixer on the planet. Now, if they don't come out with one, it wouldn't change anything. The S11 is still an amazing mixer. But I could see, you know, an MK2. Rain absolutely needs a new 72. Absolutely needs a new Rain 72. I mean, like yesterday. They do. Rain 70, still a workhorse. You know, maybe a refinement here and there. But Rain 70 has been fine. Put a Duck Echo on the S11. Okay. You know, here's and again, the S11 Duck Echo, that's something that, here's the thing about, and Philip says ducking echoes on the 11. You know what I haven't done yet? I haven't upgraded the firmware on my S11 yet. I'm going to do that today. Not on the show, but today. I just haven't done it. Here's my thing about, well, not ducking echo, but like duck down. I love the sound of duck down. I do, but I rarely use it. You know, every new effect that comes out, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then what do I end up using? Echo, reverb, filter. Like, that's it. Break. Maybe the break. Those are the four things that I use religiously. Everything else, I forget to use it, or it's just not the place. And one of the issues that I have with, it's not even an issue, but it's with duck down. One of the issues that I have is, in order to get the best duck down sound, you have to be at 12 o'clock. So essentially, I don't know, 100%, 0. But I don't run my echoes. I don't run my reverb. I don't run any of those things on 12 o'clock. So my effects always sit at, like, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock. So if you don't have, the duck down only works well if it's at 12 o'clock. If not, you get bleed from the effect and your audio, and that doesn't sound good. It only sounds good when it's, you know, just the effect taking over the sound. But since I run all my things, you know, at like 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm not in the mindset, okay, duck down, 12, this, that. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's a me thing. It's just a me thing. So, but I love the sound of duck down. I do. I absolutely do. DJ Lab in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. All right. DJ M. Bezel says, I want to learn the extra effects so bad, but always just end up echo, break, filter, and occasionally the pitch filter. Yeah. Look, I mean, there's something to be said about doing too much. You know, not for everybody. I have to get I got to find my lip balm. My lips are feeling a little dry. It's been rainy and it's been windy, and that's funny. Duck Down. That used to be one of my favorite records too. It is, but it's a great effect. Lost my train of thought here. What was I saying? Oh yeah. There comes a point where you can be doing too much. You know, I mean, there are people that kind of get stuck and they're only using like echo every single transition. echo, 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 echo. And then it starts to get a little stale and people start to forget. Although I will tell you this though, I don't think people care that your transitions are always the same as much as people think they do. I've been doing echo too much. Let me switch it to reverb. Let me switch it to filter. I don't think they care as much as you think. Or maybe that's just me thinking that. But religiously, I think the most important part for most people is not the effects. I think you should do a party, do a club or whatever without effects. Just try. Go ahead and try. Just without effects. See how much harder your transitions get. You see what I'm saying? Just see how much harder. If you do them without effects for a couple of gigs, it'll make you a better DJ because it will mask effects mask imperfections. So without that, it'll make you a better DJ. In all honesty, anytime I get to a thing where I'm like, oh, that's right, there's nothing here on this one. This is an old piece of gear or whatever. It'll make you a better DJ. It's true. It's true. We get used to our crutches and echo and breaks and reverbs. Those are all crutches. All of them. So yeah. Anyway, just a thing. I try to on occasion just go back to that because then it'll really clean up your transitions. Really, really, really. Go back to dropping on the one. I find so the funny thing about dropping on the one. I know people struggle with it. Dropping on the one is easy, but it's only easy if your hands are good. And I'm talking about your ability to scratch everything. I'm just saying your ability to drop on beat is the most important part. So people that don't scratch at all, because there's this contingent of people that are like, you don't need to scratch to be a good DJ. They think that that's all it is it's about showing off. That's not what scratching is about. Scratching is about, yes, adding a flair, being artistic, but it's also about keeping everything on beat. Keeping everything on beat. And scratching, bring it back. All that stuff is on beat. It's that tempo. Okay? So when you're dropping on the one, your timing has to be perfect. Because if you're not perfect, they feel that more than anything else. They will feel that. If you're coming in late, if you're coming in early, it all feels because that rhythm is a part of everybody. So if you don't have that rhythm and you drop it early, it's going to mess people up. So yes, dropping on the one is an art form, but I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. And I know that's a thing because I've seen people get on a baby scratch and I'm just like, oh my God. Like you're going to struggle dropping this ew bit. Like you're going to struggle with this drop on. And usually you can see it because usually the people that are it's real slow baby scratches. They're not confident. They're not confident about it. Use a good backspin. I like a good backspin. Backspins are good. Now backspins, I believe you can overstay your welcome on a backspin. I do believe that. There was a time when I was backspinning like every damn song. I don't know why. I kept going back to the backspin. The song was saying to me, backspin this. You gotta backspin this every time. I don't backspin nearly as much anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the first like cool thing that you learn as a DJ, the backspin. Look at me, I'm a DJ. I don't know. But everybody's different though. Everybody's different. Durrell says, dropping on the one is going to be based on how familiar you are with what specific gear. Pioneer adjustable jogs, Pioneer non-adjustable motorized. I understand what you're saying, but I think if you DJ, you can drop it on the one. Anyone. Nobody should be stuck between the Rain 4 and the Rain 7. DJ X-Backs. Nobody should be stuck. They are completely different pieces of gear. I posted the Rev 5 on IG and Facebook. And what does anybody think was the first question? DDJ 1000 or Rev 5? That's the question I get all the time. All the time. DDJ 1000 or Rev 5? Which one? They're not the same. Yes, the jogs are the same. Besides that, fundamentally, they are night and day different from one another. Night and day different. Rain 4 looks like it was made grade 11 shop class. So they're not the same because they're fundamentally different. Okay. When you're talking about the Rain 4 versus the Rain 7, you got moving jogs versus non-moving jogs. Yes. The Rain 4 jogs are very, very good, but they're different. You know, you have a 4-channel mixer versus a 2-channel mixer. So different, you know, you have a size difference. The Rain 4 is larger than the Rev 7. The Rain 4 won't fit in a jetpack glide system bag. Won't fit. It's too big. Even the way that stems are used are completely different, you know, on both systems. So they're different. I mean, yes, the Rain 4 is probably one of the closest non-motorized platter turntable controllers out there, but it's not the same as a motorized platter controller. For instance, with the Rev 5. The Rev 5, fantastic controller. Yes, no internal effects. Okay, we'll get over it. But a very, very good controller. And I've been testing it out. Is it the Rev 7? Absolutely not. It's not. It's not. It's close. And it's got some features on there that even the Rev 7 doesn't have. But the Rev 7 fundamentally is a different type of controller. It is a true turntable controller. So you can't compare the two, you know? Yes, they all have paddles. It's a good board. I think AliExpress version of the Rev. DJ Lev is on it today. He is on it. I mean, look, I think the bottom line here is, I've been very, very transparent about gear that I use. You know, everybody knows that I'm a Rev 7 guy. Doesn't mean that I'm opposed to other gear. I just prefer the Rev 7. And gear comes along, new gear is cool, but so far, as of today, not one piece of gear, controller-wise, not one piece of gear has made me want to stop using my Rev 7 or want to stop using my Rev 7 less. I like the Rev 5 because it's the closest thing to the Rev 7, but it's smaller, it's lighter, you know, fits in more places. And it fundamentally still gives me what I need. You know, it's interesting though, what I will say, I thought I said it in my previous review. So none of this stuff is like new if you watched my old review on the Rev 5. I thought that, something about the markers on the Rev 5, and a lot of people did not like the markers on the Rev 5. Oh, it's cheap. Why aren't there any displays in there? I don't know what it is about the Rev 5 or how they did it, but the markers on the Rev 5 are so usable. It's the most bizarre thing. It doesn't make sense, but they are so usable. And it feels a lot like the Opus Quad markers. Like I didn't love the markers on like the original, like, what Well, I guess more when on the capacitive jogs, like the SX or whatever. A lot of them have it, but the markers are really usable on the Rev 5. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. And phonographics. What's going on, man? I haven't seen you before. Thanks for hanging out. What about the Flex 10? Flex 10 is a great controller. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of great controllers out there. But the Flex 10 suffers from a personal need for me. Okay? The personal need for me is paddles. I don't like strip style effects. And the effects on the Flex 10 are second to none. Amazing what the Flex 10 can do with all of their effects. Where is the Flex 10? I think it's in the other office. I might have to go get it. It's an amazing controller. The way the effects routing happens with, you know what? Maybe I will get it. Should I get it? Let me know. Maybe I will. But the bottom line here is that there's a whole bunch of good controllers. There is a whole bunch of good controllers. And then there's, controllers that you love. And the what about the Rain 4? The effects on it are good too. So, yes, you are correct. The effects are good on the Rain 4. The effects on the Rain 4 are the best effects that In Music has come out with. So, there's that. I do love that. But what I was saying is full transparency, like all the gear I love, and I've started to become more efficient or economical with the amount of space that I'm taking up in my home with DJ equipment. And one of the things, I have to text this one lady, if this is the same lady that keeps texting, because she's driving me nuts. Hold on. Hold on. I'm on. Sorry. Okay. Because I don't want just equipment in my house all the time now. I'm not going to read it out loud. I have chosen to send a lot of gear back. And one of the things that I sent back was the Rain 4. I sent it back. Nothing wrong with the Rain 4. It just wasn't the board for me. But nothing wrong with the Rain 4. Rain 4 is a great board. Just wasn't the board for me. Why, you ask? What are the reasons that it doesn't work for you? Just a couple of things. But for me, they are they're deal breakers. Okay. One was a temporary deal breaker. It didn't fit in any of my cases. So if I'm, trying to transport that thing around, I have no cases. I'm not buying a new case for just the one thing. I like to interchange all of my gear. So like right now in my glide bag, there's a Flex 5. There's a Rev 5 in my glide bag. That's in there. Prior to that, there was the Flex 10 in my glide bag. Prior to that, it was my Rev 7, but my Rev 7 is in my furniture for the time being. It may not stay there. It's in my furniture right now. That's one. Size is a big thing. And it's a very large controller. I don't know what it is about it. And everybody loves things differently. Like I know this. But for me, when I would set down the Rain 4, it felt like it was taking up an obscene amount of space for me. Like I had no space on my sides. It was just large. For me, I don't want controllers that are that large. It's bigger than the Prime 4. I've said that. It's bigger than the Prime 4. The other deal breaker for me is that there seems to be, and this only applies to people like me. This is why I think I noticed it when others did not. There seems to be a little quality control issue with the mic inputs. Every time I've plugged into a Rain 4, the mic has sounded different, and not in a good way. And so for me, who plugs mics directly into their boards, it was obvious. I assumed that I just had a bad copy, so I just said, hey, I'll let this one go because, we get pre-release stuff all the time and things happen. And then not just from them, for every manufacturer that's ever sent me gear, there's always been something because they're all pre-release. I'm not getting retail copies. So I have to take some of that and say, you know what, some of this could be, it's just brand new, whatnot. I'm not going to put this on a video. And then I find out that it's not their fault. It was just a bad copy. I got burned one time. I said, hey, my bike is jacked up on this thing. And, I got contacted. They were like, there's nothing wrong with it. Anyway. So, I let it go. Then I was, doing a wedding in Seattle, and the person renting me the equipment had a Rain 4. And I said to him, hey, and I'll get back to why a lot of people did not notice it when I did. And then I said, I was renting equipment and my guy was going to set it all up. And I said, hey, are you going through a mixer? And he goes, no. I said, oh, most people go through mixers. I don't go through mixers, but most people go through mixers. So I said, are you having any mic issues? And he goes, nope, sounds great. I haven't had a problem. I'm like, okay, fine. It must have been mine. I get to Seattle, we're doing the sound check, plug the mic in, listen. And I'm like, there's that sound again. He goes, what? I'm like, you don't hear that? There's like a tinniness to it. Like it's not a full sound. And he goes, oh, now that you mention it, I'm noticing it now. So for me, the mic has to be good because I'm not going through a mixer. If I was going through a mixer, which a lot of people do, they go through an external mixer and they use the mic channel on their mixer, their outboard mixer, to do everything. You don't even hear the microphone. So let's say I love the Rain 4. My only choice is to now bring a outboard mixer with me to every event. And I will not do that. Will not do that. That's just more crap I got to deal with. Not into it. So that's a big deal. And then, every controller has issues, especially when they come out new, they have glitches and they get fixed on firmware updates. But there were just some random quirkiness to it. That I don't know. So anyway, that's why those are my issues. Those are my big issues. And I think that a lot of boards have issues. Some issues you can deal with. Some issues you can work around. Some issues are an absolute no. You're moving on. Why would you need to bring an external mixer with it? Queso. Didn't I just tell you why? Queso, you're breaking my heart, Queso. You're gonna make me repeat what I just said, Queso? Too much cheese in your ears, Queso. Fine. Because the mic is bad. The mic is bad for me. Everybody's different, but for me, it didn't work for me. And I know that it's not necessarily it's not like it's a microphone issue because the Rain 1's microphones were solid, It was just that particular one. So that's a problem for me. Now, for other people, it's great. Now, if I had to walk into a place and there was a Rain 4, chilling, I wouldn't be like, oh man, there's a Rain 4. I'd be like, okay, cool. I can work off of that. It's the same thing of like going to a place and maybe they got Technics MK3s and maybe you're used to playing off of like, MK5Gs. And you're like, oh, they only go +8, but that's cool. I can work around that. The torque's a little weak, but that's okay. I can work around that. That's kind of what I feel. SRT already heavy. What SRT are you referring to? The 1000? The 1000, if you're talking about the SRT of the 1000, that is not a heavy controller. Trust me. Every controller that has come out after the 1000 is dramatically heavier. Rev 7, heavy. Not end of the world heavy, but heavy. The Flex 10, heavier than the 1000. Rain 4, it's actually, it does have a good balance. I will say that. It's weighted properly, probably because it's so damn big. Okay. DJ Lab, I just put in my Apple AirPods to listen while I'm on the go, and I noticed there's a little bit of buzzing sound on your microphone. Don't you talk about my microphone. It's probably not the microphone. I'm probably getting some electrical interference, in all honesty. I noticed that I've been getting an occasional buzz from my neon sign all of a sudden, which means it's something I've plugged in is causing a little bit of a problem. But thank you. DJ Lab is getting critical on me right now. I hear some buzzing at the 32 megahertz spectrum. I think you might want to go back and check your flux capacitor. Okay. So in other words, you want to be efficient when you bring equipment to your gear. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to be efficient. I'm not the guy. I bring enough stuff. I bring backups of stuff, but I'm not the guy that's just going to have, tons and tons of equipment just in case. That's not going to be me. I got backups. I have multiple backups, whether it be the Prime Go or the Mix Stream or Algorithm DJ, or just my iPad with music on it. Like I got enough backups. I think I know why. I know a lot of people use DJ, and that's great. I don't personally use DJ all that much. Yeah, that neon sign is not going to be in a separate circuit. This is a house. The circuits on these walls are all one and the same. I got a lot of stuff plugged in. Literally, you guys see this part, which is all this and all the lights and stuff. On the other side, I got a whole desk with, a 42-inch TV and, all of my speakers and all the other gear and all my testing gear and my S11 and the 1200s or the 1200s, the PLX 1000s, like all of this stuff everywhere, and it's all plugged in everywhere. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually more surprised I don't have more hum, to be honest with you. Okay. Let's see here. I think it's a reverb. All right, let's see here. KCT says, Darrell, would you use an Opus for your style of DJing? Could you be comfortable with it? There's an Opus sitting right across from me. I love the Opus. Absolutely love the Opus. I have not been secret about it. I love the Opus. It's a great control. And this is my running joke between Mojax and I, because he hates the styling. I love the Opus. Now, I can't use the Opus as much as I love the Opus. Can't. Just can't. Why? It's too big. And I can't, I'm not taking it on mobile gigs. So it sits in here. But I love the Opus. I love what the Opus is about. I love the future of the Opus and the software. Love, love, love. And the whole match your DJ stylings question. I don't think. Okay, so there's gear. There's gear. Hey, T Diesel in the building. What's going on? Jay Book in the building. What's happening, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. There's gear that is natural to me. Okay. Natural to me is 2 turntables and a mixer. That's natural. That feels like home. But as I've continued to grow and continue to do and test and do all these things, CDJs have become normal for me. Still don't love like 900 style mixers. Still don't. I would still prefer an S11 and CDJ 3000s over pretty much anything. But the Opus specifically, I did a whole Twitch mix show on it. Did not feel out of place one single bit. Jogs are great. The nondescript fader, since there's no, it doesn't. I don't even think it tells you what's in the Opus, what the fader is. Great fader. The touch screens are amazing. It's great. It's great. But I can't take it out. And that's the problem. But it's not the problem. It's just the problem. Does that make sense? Let's see here. Eddie says, watched Mojack's review of the M3 last night, and he focused directly on DJing. His opinion is the M chip didn't need more than 16 gigs of RAM. Serato only. Is your opinion on the MacBooks that you need more than 32 gigs of RAM, especially if you're using it to stream and DJ processing? Looking forward to your review. I'm not doing a review on the M3. We talked about this last week in detail. But the bottom line here is that if you are only DJing, Mojax is absolutely correct. 16 gigs is going to be more than enough. I would not go with the 8 gig one, the entry level one that they just came out with. I don't think that's enough, but 16 gigs is more than enough for DJing. 32 gigs or more is not really going to impact you on an M chip because of the way the unified memory works together. So you're not going to run into problems. Now, if you're doing video projection, 3D model rendering, anything like that, coding, all these things, then yes, RAM will come into play, and the more you have, the better. Now, my computer, M1 Pro, 32 gigs of RAM. I had gone with the middle of the line M1 Pro, not the Max, but the one right underneath it. 2 terabytes of storage. My system doesn't sweat anything at all. So, I think 16 is more than adequate. Absolutely more than adequate for the majority of people in the world. Yeah. 8 is just not enough. And Mixmaster says, especially with data heavy jobs like streaming, uploads, etc. DJ software, only 16 is more than enough. See, we're all on the same page. We are all on the same page. What about DJing with videos and sound switch? What about it? Again, you guys have to, everybody is stuck in the old paradigm of Intel, okay? Where your RAM was your RAM and that was it. It's not like that with the Macs. Even with the 8 gigabytes, there's swapping happening all the time. That's why they call it unified memory for that reason, because it's all being utilized. Don't forget that, even with videos, don't forget you kind of have these pretty amazing graphics cards built into your system. All those 14 core GPUs and all that stuff that's in those Macs, that's what it's for. So your RAM, and now they're coming out with this new thing where it's going to analyze and predict and balance out your RAM based upon the system you're in. So you get a more balanced RAM input output. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're trying to do right now. Okay. So, DJ Florence, welcome welcome to Team Check 1 2. Appreciate you. M2 Max Pro, very nice computer. Yeah, you don't need a Max. There's pretty much nobody out there that needs a Max, especially if you're just a DJ. You absolutely don't need a match. Don't need a Max. And if you have a 14, I would tell you not to get a Max. If you have a 14, chassis is not big enough to support the Max. It's going to throttle. You're not going to get the maximum throughput that you bought anyway. But that's just an opinion. You don't need a Max. Okay. Eddie says, so do I go M3 or get a refurb M2? Okay. So this is what I will say. The M1, best processor that has come out in probably decades. Okay. M2, stopgap. You know, still based upon, I think it's still based upon the 5 nanometer chip. It runs hotter than the M1. It needs to, which means it needs to be cooled more. The M3, 3 nanometer chip, more efficient. So the cooling is going to be better. I would say personally, either do, if you have a choice, if you have an option, you know, M1, the M3 is not the problem with Serato. It's not the M3, it's the software. Because they haven't really done anything different to the M3. It's still the same architecture. So you should be fine rocking an M3. I say that, you know, but it's really the OS that's the biggest problem. But yes, they are correct. M3 isn't supported. It'll be supported soon. It's just a matter of time. But I love the M1. I think if you're on the fence between a M2 or M3, I think you just wait, you know, for the M3. If you don't need a computer right now, if you need a computer, get what you need. Get the M2. It's a great computer. But if you don't, then that. All right. Hold on. I did see some 8 inches as my max. Thank you, Ashley. I brought an M1 Pro from Apple refurb. Haven't had any issues. My computer's a refurb also, and it's been great to me. All right. I know there were some questions coming up about, hold on. Let's go back to Jay. Don Rafa, how many Jackery batteries would you recommend to do a 5-hour party? 3 of them or more, outdoor event, of course. This is a question that I can't answer. I have never used a Jackery battery ever. For a couple of reasons. One, if I'm out somewhere on a beach, whatever, I'm typically just running a generator and bringing that instead. So I think Jay Book might have started talking about that. Kamal says, got a brand new Hercules T7. The plotters were so stiff using the slip mats that I returned it. Huh. That's interesting. I did not get that experience, but can't you change the slip mats? I would start with the basics, you know. Mine should be coming relatively soon to test. And it's going to come with the new fader in it, the Inno fader. It's going to come pre-built in there, which I'm really excited about. So, that comes soon. So, but back to what I was saying prior to, that's one of those things. So love the Rev 7. However, when I'm doing bars and, you know, small little few hour things on the side, the Rev 7 is not so much overkill, but it's a lot of weight. And when you're transporting things and trying to do things and set up really quickly, it can be a little harder. That T7, however, with the moving platters, I don't know. That might be, there's motion at my front door. that might be enough for a lot of those small little things. The gardener's here. Okay. Anyway, so back to batteries. Yeah, I typically run a generator. One for each speaker, one for each mic. Out of here. So many people saying they need a max out pro. Yeah, they don't need a max out pro. Nobody needs a max out pro. Trust me on that. Seen used M1s, 1 terabyte, 16 gigs, $699 used. Save your money on the M3. Greg, you need to send me that link if you actually have seen that at $699. I will buy one today. My son needs a new computer. So if you've seen that, go send me a link on IG. I haven't seen them for that cheap ever. Okay. Let's see here. I can't compare yet because I'm using a gaming laptop with 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, PCs are different. They're way different. Jackery 2000 runs 2 JBL PRX 815 speakers, computer controller, and mic, 5 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot. I say more power to you. I don't live in the country. Every place I DJ at has power. So I don't think about that kind of stuff. I don't. And I think more power to you guys that do. You know, I see it all the time on idea sharing. Oh, the whole entire building went out, but I had my Jackery. I had a reserve, diesel battery backup in the back that I just happen to bring with me on every party. More power to you. You know what's in my contract? We require a dedicated 20 amp circuit, and we are not responsible if your circuit crashes. That's what's in my contract. I can't bring. I think having some battery powered stuff is good. I have my Mackeys and things like that, but I just can't. I'm not that guy. I am not that guy. DJ Farn says, do you own self-serve photo booths? Have any opinions on them? I mean, when you say self-serve, I mean, technically, most photo booths are technically self-serve unless you have a camera and you're shooting with. But I have a couple of Mobi booths, which are all iPad versions. Love them. They're easy. Those are definitely self-serve. Take your picture. You can send it via email, via text, all those things. I don't do self-serve on printers because it just you want to make sure that you can manage all the prints and they're not overdoing it because print paper and ink and everything is very expensive. So I have a person on that for that. But yes, I use a Mobi booth with Snapic, with the Snapic photo app. Love it. Love it. And there's several different ones out there, but Snapic's been good for me, so I haven't changed. And a Mobi booth. But you go to the Mobile Entertainment Expo in Vegas, and it's all it is. It's all photo booths. And I looked around, all the photo booths are pretty much the same. So it's just about, getting the one that you feel most comfortable with. Because when it's all said and done, the box is just the box. The software is the most important part, and the iPad, honestly. And I actually this weekend, I ran into an issue where I needed to use my camera with the box. And, now there's so many abilities. When the iPad first came out, you had to use just that front facing camera. And for the most part, if there's enough light the pictures are small, the front facing camera is more than enough. But when you're starting to do like quality pictures, you need a better camera. And now you can actually plug right into your iPad. Your like my A7 IV. I can plug that right in and it'll see it and work just perfectly. So that kind of stuff is what I love. I don't understand. And we won't go there anyway. So they're all good. You're going to spend anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 for the body, and then the iPad, which I believe will also work now with an iPad Air. It used to be a iPad Pro only, but now they work with iPad Airs too. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Darrell says, Is there anything to say about having gear that's professional? Looks matter, right? Okay, this is a very good question. I know this question comes up a lot, but it is still a very good question. Okay, so I believe that clients do respect you when you have what appears to be an expensive setup. Whether it be, 2 turntables and a mixer, CDJs and a mixer, furniture, like all of those things say, I put in the work. It says, I've spent the money. That's why I'm so expensive. There are levels to what it is that you do. If you hear that right now, dog barking, the gardener is on the side of the house where my office is, and he's doing his job. So I'm not going to be mad at him. So, there are minimums that I will do when I'm DJing, some client that just paid $4,000 to have me and my crew there. Okay. I prefer, I used to use the 1000 all the time. The 1000 is a good looking controller. Looks like 2 CDJs and a 900. So that wasn't an issue. I stopped bringing turntables a long time ago. It was just too much work. And, so the Rep 7 is kind of like the perfect in the middle controller for me. But if you have CDJs, if you got a Prime 4, if you got an Opus Quad, it's sitting up there. It says, I put money into my company, and that's why I charge. So, yeah, will your dogs attack the gardeners? No, they won't, Ted, because my dogs have met all the people that go in my backyard, so they know. So if you got booked to do a wedding, and look, there are people out there right now that are using super, super small controllers. Okay. But if you got booked to do a wedding and you show up with I don't know. What is this on me? Oh, it's from my sweater. I'm like, what is this white stuff on me? Pause. And you show up with just like a little Newmark mix stream. Okay. And that's your main computer, DDJ SB, something small. Does that mean you're not able to do the job? Absolutely not. But impressions are just as important. I know people don't want to admit it. I know people want to say your gear doesn't matter. It's what you do with that gear that matters. Jay Davis says clients don't care about your equipment. So this is a true statement. I've said this before. Clients don't care about your equipment. However, they do care about, this is going to be complicated. Clients don't care about your equipment, but they care how your equipment looks. They don't care what it is you're using. That's the key. They don't care what you're using as long as it does what it's supposed to do. So if you have a front board, okay, white and black front board, and off to the side, there's a couple of stains in the corner, maybe you got a little rip on the side there. That's what they see. That's what they see. If you have lighting trusses and you got the most expensive moving heads on the planet, they're 200, watts, and they do everything. But your trusses are dirty. They got dust on them because they've been sitting in your warehouse for all this time. They don't care what's at the top. They're looking at all that dirt on your truss. So it is true Clients don't care what you use as long as it looks good. That's key. That is key. As long as it looks good. A lot of times, your front boards are covering up your equipment anyway. So they don't see the equipment you're using. They have no idea. But if let's say they don't know what you're using, right? Then it's time for speeches. And then they say, I need a microphone for my speech. And then you come up to them with a Bob Barker 15-inch microphone. Doesn't matter how good it is. They're going to be like, what the hell is this crap that you're giving me? Clients have expectations. And you have to at least fulfill those expectations. And those expectations might be small. They might be small, but they're still there. When a party planner calls you and they're like, hey, what are you using? What do they normally say? What are you guys using? You guys using a facade? Okay. And what do you got? Trusses? You got gig bars? What do you have? Movers? What do you have? Like they don't say, what do you have? Do you have a dragon facade? Do you have Chevet movers? They don't ask those questions. They just ask, what are the things that they know they see? What kind of speakers are you using? Are you using the big speakers or the small speakers? Translation, are you using point source or are you using, column arrays? That's all they're asking about. They don't know what you're using. But it sounds like crap or it looks like crap. They will spot that a mile away. So that's it. Gear doesn't matter. Your ability to rock a party on a mix stream is the same as rocking a party on some turntables if you're a good DJ. Simple as that. Simple as that. Now, I will say this. The client doesn't care what you're using. However, if you have prospective clients, they will care more about what it is that you're working off of. Okay. So for instance, I don't know, you're doing a wedding, right? And your client is super happy. And then another person is like, hey, I like what you're doing. I'm interested in using your services. When they come up to the booth, if they see some small ass controller, in the back of their mind, they're going to say, it's just going to be a little flag like, why are you using that little toy? They don't know why. They came back expecting to see some bigger system. They expected to see 2 turntables and a mixer, or they expected to see, some CDJs because they go to the nightclubs and that's what the nightclubs are using. And then they come to you and they see a little controller. It's gonna be in the back of their heads. So the closer you can come to like having something that looks respectable, the better it'll be. Now, if I'm at a backyard party, pool party, and I come with a Denon Prime Go, or small little background music, I come with a Denon Prime Go, nobody's going to say a word because it's not expected. It's not expected. But when they're expecting the DJ to be the DJ, it's key. It's key. I know people that are like, I only use a Denon Prime Go. I've seen people that are like, I only use, I hate the fact that I always bring up idea sharing, DJ idea sharing. I really do hate that. But that's where I get to see kind of the real world. The world that is beyond me and my little window, and I'll go on there and I'll see people like, this is what I use like every single weekend. And it's like literally like an algorithm DJ iPad and then like the smallest controller. This has been great. I got my little SB and I'm killing it with it. And I just look at it and I'm going, hey man, that's great. That is great. Do your thing. However, forgive me for thinking this, but the moment I see you with that gear, automatically in my mind, I know it's ignorant. I get it. But in my mind, when I see that, I say, you can't possibly be that good of a DJ. Forgive me for saying it. That could be the farthest thing from the truth. 100% could definitely be. But my first reaction when I see something like that is, there's no way you're a good DJ. Stupid. Incredibly dumb. I know it's dumb. But I also know there's a little truth to it. That's why it's in the back of my head. Because I rarely see amazing DJs rocking a little controller as their go-to. Rarely. You're not all DJ dynamics. None of you are. Let's just call a spade a spade. Okay? Not everybody can rock a controller like Dynamics can. Mixed fact. Roland 707 is a great controller. It doesn't look like it though. That is absolutely true, Feta. Absolutely true. You know, that's one of the best small controllers you can get. And it just looks the way it looks. Okay. So what are your thoughts on laid back setup? Playing festivals with reloop controller and a phone. Ain't he still getting booked for festivals? Okay. We want to go there. We're going to go there. Okay. Fine. I'm going to say something and then I'm going to move off of it. Any DJ that is good at DJing can rock off of anything. Okay? Any DJ. I just talked about Dynamics. Literally rocking with like a little controller. Better than 98% of the DJs out there. Any DJ. This is what I will say about Laid Back Luke. And I'm going to say this in the most respectful way possible. Okay? Because I was looking back at my old videos and then I realized I talk a lot about controversial things that Laid Back Luke does. Because I don't believe that he does things for the right reasons. I think there is a financial aspect involved that none of us know about. I think he does it, to be edgy and for clicks. I'm not disqualifying his ability to be a great DJ. I'm not saying that, but he does some things that puts question marks in my head. So he's free to do what he wants to do. And by the way, him DJing these festivals, come on, guys. Come on. You know they don't need half the gear that's on stage with them. Half the gear. They don't. So, you want to do it, cool. That's fine. That's fine. He said James Hype. That's how I think of him. I don't know that I'd put those two together. James Hype works his ass off. I mean, I might make jokes about his that he does. I might make jokes about that because I find it humorous. No matter what, every time I see him do it, I just laugh. And he does it perfectly, and that's great. But James Hype is absolutely a quality DJ. Absolutely. At 100%. Jude Craft says you're entitled to have an opinion. I don't know what that even means. I don't know what that means, Jude Craft. However, sounds like you may be a little defensive, Jude Craft. Arthritis. Mixmaster G says James Hype is technically the best DJ club festival DJ in my book. Jude Crouch says I think he's trash. Okay, fair enough. Now, why do you think he's trash? what exactly do you think makes him trash? Because I've seen him. I've seen him live. I've seen obviously his IG stuff. The one thing I will say about James Hype is not that he's trash. That's not the key. He does the genre he spends has nothing. The genre he spends does not make him trash. That doesn't define him as a DJ. That's just the music he plays. I think the one thing that falls on him, and this is his fault too. Because he keeps putting content up that he utilizes the same techniques in a lot of his content. So when you're watching his content, you start to get this false sense of, well, that's all he does. He does the same thing every time, but that's not really true. I will say this. He's not trash. He's absolutely not trash. It's the same thing when I see people like talk about Skrillex as a DJ, or they talk about Diplo and they're like, oh, they're not that good. Oh, they're this. And I'm like, have you just seen them actually just DJ? Like, they're good. They're good ass DJs. But people see content and then they automatically make assumptions. Like, I'd be hard pressed to see him rock like a 45 King type set. Well, why would you expect him to? We are we're projecting is what's going on here. You can't talk about James Hype and say, hey, James Hype, you're good at this, but let me see you rock like Jazzy Jeff. It's not the same. That's comparing Picasso to Van Gogh. You can't. They're different artists. Nobody's comparing, Michael Jackson to Van Halen. Oh, Eddie, you're dope on that guitar, but let me see you moonwalk. Like, nobody's saying that. You can't put every DJ in a box. You can't. You absolutely can't. You have to just respect them for what it is that they do, and then move on from there. What I don't like is he hypes himself up. Okay, that I understand. I agree with you. His videos can come off a little egocentric and egotistical. Yeah, he absolutely could. I do agree with that. But the funny thing about him is I've met him. He's a nice guy. It's just, I don't know. His videos come off a certain way. And, he's got the sunglasses on and all that stuff. Like, I get it. It's all spectacle. I understand. I do. He's selling a product. He is, but I completely understand what you're saying. All right, hold on. Let's see here. Okay. He's made a whole career off one technique. Yeah, I agree. I know there was something here. He does too much. Let's see here. Okay. Sam says, the Rev 1 and Rev 5 reading the jog wheels slip while holding it. However, you mentioned gripping too lightly. I'm heavy-handed in finding that the case. Can you give some insight? Okay. So yes. I will give some better insight. Hold on for half a second here. If I can make this work. I can't guarantee. I'll try to be fast.
All right, guys, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry. I wanted to just do a quick video about this new unit. It's not out yet. It doesn't come out until July 31st. It hits market. I have pre-order it pretty soon, though. All right, so this is Tim. This is the man, runs this thing. They came out with an amazing product. I haven't tested it yet, but based upon what I'm seeing, this is one of those to beat. game changer. Moving platters. It's $700.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today?
$700. This is gonna sell like hotcakes. So I'm gonna do a review, but tell me just real quickly, like, what made you guys decide to do something like this?
The history of DJing is vinyl, right?
Yeah.
And motorized jog wheels is the best we can get right now, in terms of replicating that with a digital controller.
Right.
So the Impulse T7 is our shot at the motorized DJ controller market, and the largest, most premium controller we've ever made.
Okay.
And we're pricing it just like we price everything else in the Hercules lineup.
Super aggressive.
Competitively. Let's call it competitively.
I call it aggressive, he calls it competitively, fine.
We're targeting both, obviously, beginner DJs
Right.
who want to upgrade to a motorized platters,
Right.
or working DJs who want something small, want something portable, want something that works with Strato Pro.
It has XLR outs. Very important for a professional DJ that you have that. I'm impressed so far though.
You'll see more of the T7 real soon.
All right, guys, follow my YouTube because you know we're gonna do this review very, very soon. All right, see ya.
Make this happen. Didn't really get my specs up here. Okay. All right. It's kind of messy up here, so I apologize for it being so messy. Wasn't expecting to have company on my desk today. So let me do some moving here to get it to where I need. I actually need to drill a little slider for my keyboard so it just sits underneath here. That would make it a lot easier. Okay. By the way, did I tell you guys I finally got my iPhone 15 Pro Max? Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's actually lighter than my Pro was. Than my Pro 13 was. The regular size. Okay. Let's see here. I can't hear a thing. Hold on. Find my 1/4 inch. I knew it's gonna be hard. Okay. 1/4 inch. We got music. There we go. I need to keep my sound. All right, hopefully you guys can hear. All right, let me move my. Okay. Yeah, ignore all the chords and everything. So, I know people were talking about the effects and stuff, so we can talk about that a little bit. It's a little dusty, so I should dust it off, but it is what it is. Deal with it. It was sitting on the ground in the spare room, so deal with it. Give the music a tad more. Guys are just needy people you are. Okay, so on the jogs, my hand is resting on here. Okay, now I'm applying pressure as my hand is on here. Okay, if I just let my hand up a little bit, my hand's still on it, still touching it, but it's not registering the movement until I press down. So when you're DJing with the 1000 with the Rev 5, with anything with these mechanical jogs, you have to keep your hands on it. Because a lot of people struggle bringing it back because they want to do this and then they're not registering. So you have to but you know, again, if you were not applying enough pressure, it's going to move without you. And then you're going to be like, oh, why? What's wrong with the jogs? Why? Because you have to be heavy-handed, and it's not just that your hand is on there, but it is a continuous pressure that you need to apply if you are trying to do things. So a lot of times you don't actually bring your hands. So it's not a Serato problem. Not even close to being a Serato problem. If your hand's on it, you just get used to your hands applying a certain amount of pressure. See, now my hand's still on there, but see, and you can't see it on here. Maybe you can see it up here, but you see the pad is, you see how much pressure it takes. That's probably, I don't know. Hard to say. So when it becomes hard, which I don't typically do too much of, is any type of beat juggling, because you know, you want to get your hand on it in a way that is going to be, you know, flush as you're bringing it back. Your hand, the amount of pressure has to be the same. But if your pressure isn't exactly the same, you might end up, you know, on the snare because you didn't apply enough pressure to get all the way back to 12 o'clock. So that's really the issue with the mechanical jogs that are used on the Flex 10 or the 1000 or the Rev 5. But besides that, you know, once you get used to the feel of them, it gets easier. It absolutely gets easier. You know, but you gotta use your stuff, you know? I always find that when you're first starting off with these types of things, it's better to do more physical scratches, baby scratches, militaries, you know, all that stuff, than actually doing like transforms, because the transform, you know, requires you to have your hand at a certain way. And you can see it. I mean, if you don't apply, because your transform, you have to kind of keep your hand. You see how it's, you know, so there's a cue point there. That's why it's moving. As you're doing a transform, you know, it's got to be a certain way. So if you're a transform guy that kind of goes transform and then bring it back, transform, bring it back. Well, the amount of pressure that you have to apply when you're trying to pull that transform back has to be the exact same, or else you're going to run into problems. Back to what I was saying about, but having said that, I absolutely love so much about the Flex 10. Like I was talking about with the routing, the effects routing on the Flex 10 are, the effects on here are so great. So like, say you got that beat on. What I love about it is, you see these guys right here, this FX part select. Well, these are your effects, but unlike on a 1000 where you have just one and it controls all the effects, you can separate out the effects that you want to use. So say I don't want vocal. I just want the effect on the drums. It's only on there. Like that, I absolutely love. But then also, let's say, and I got to put on stuff that's not going to get me demonetized. So that's why. Let me find a vocal. Try this. No, that's not. Okay, I was just one. So I can do, obviously, just on the vocals. Here's the thing that I really love about this is that the effects apply to your sound color effects too. So, I mean, obviously, you know, we normally set the filter, but here's the thing. So let's say everything's on. We know how this works, right? But I can just do the vocals. Which means that I can go over to pitch. I mean, the amount of fun you can have with just something like that is dope. You know, I mean, only on the vocal. So unlike normally when you do this, you know, maybe you're adding too much sound. Echo. So anyway, now the one thing I will say, because I've had it happen before, I've had, you know, just the vocal on and I'm applying effects and doing transitions and throw my echo on and I'm like, what's wrong with my sound? Why? And I forget that, oh yeah, I didn't have everything done. But, you know, if people like to do effects outs on the echo, transitioning from one to the next, you can just keep your vocal on, you know, and then when you're transitioning out, it's like a what do you call it? The one that's on silent echo, whatever. The one that's on the S11 and the Rev 7. So I love this. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have any. Can you do that with the Rev 7? No, you cannot do this with the Rev 7 because it has no separation parts built in. You know, I don't know. Maybe on a firmware. I still have hopes for the Rev 7 coming up with some stuff. I still have hopes. Okay. All right. What do we got here? Where's my keyboard? Not Duck Echo. What the hell's it called? It's gonna bother me so much. It's gonna bother me so much. I gotta do this.
Cleveland rock.
Yes, you guys were late. Smooth echo is what I was talking about. Yes, and the person that said the Rain 4 can do it. Yes, the Rain 4 can do a lot of the things that this can do. Does it differently, and it doesn't have the FX part select. You don't have that ability in there. Well, you have that ability, but the reason that it's different is because on the Rain 4, the only way you can apply the FX part select is if you break out the tracks. If you separate them, so you have one, you have your vocals on one, and then you have your beat on the other. That's the only way you can make that happen. This is universal throughout the entire system. That's the difference. That's the difference. So, again, though, but again, it's just, whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. The FlexSynth is a great controller. Honestly, it's a great controller. Can you truncate the sample? That's a good question. I'm just not sure about all the effects. See, I mean, the fact that you can do that. This is the stretch effect. But yeah, I don't see the ability to truncate. Okay, that's a cool little effect. I'm not gonna lie. But this is what I was saying. So as you're working off of this, if you only have the FX part select on like the vocal and you don't have it on everything, when you're doing things like, let me transition out with the filter, you're only affecting the vocals. So that messed me up a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie to you. It messed me up a couple of times. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's a way to truncate it. That's the one thing I will say. That would be cool, though. That would definitely be cool. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, on each channel. Correct. I can literally do all the effects on each channel. I really didn't want to like this board as much as I did. Yeah, agreed. When it first came up, people were like, "Oh, that's just a 1000 update. It's a Mark II." It's more than a Mark II. It is absolutely more than a Mark II. Yes, fundamentally, it's the same design, but the stuff you can do with it, it's completely different. I'm done with the whole controller game. I've tried it. It's not satisfying for me. I'm cut from another cloth, DJ wise. There's nothing like with it. Are not looking at waveforms. There's nothing like with it. There's nothing like, I guess, when you were not looking at waveforms. Okay. Hey man, do your thing. If you want to go out there and rock turntables and vinyl and be the vinyl guy and 45 guy, do your thing. Again, talking about artistry, and everybody has a different view of what the artistry is. Again, I default to 2 turntables and a mixer. That is my default. If somebody's asking me for a rider, that's what I tell them I want. Unless I'm in a bass heavy place, and maybe I'm like, give me CDJs because I don't trust this place, or give me some crosses, or some Rain 12s. But that's my normal rider. However, the amount of work that I do every single week, I need to be more efficient too. And if I don't have a rider and I got to bring my own gear, I don't care how much I love being true to the core. I got to get out there, do the party, and then leave. You know, if I do a nightclub, yeah, what are you guys using? Turntables. Perfect. You know, I'm great. But on my own parties, the Rev 7 is the reason why I use the Rev 7 is because it is the closest thing to turntables for me. It's close enough. It's close enough. So, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not here to judge you, you know, but I'm also not here to tell people that they shouldn't be doing something because, you know, it doesn't work for them. You know, hey, more power to you. I just know for a fact that the amount of parties I do, I would be exhausted if I was having to break down turntables and a mixer along with everything else. No, I don't think so. Prime 4, I've done reviews. I actually have a review up, did it months ago, actually. I got a Denon Prime 4 just sitting right there. I keep the Prime 4 for a couple of reasons. One, because every time they update the Denon OS, the Prime 4 is the best testing controller that they make. It just does everything. So I do love that. Absolutely love that. You know, but it's not my controller of choice. The new one, yes, I'm only talking about the newer one. I got reviews on both of them. In fact, I have multiple reviews on the Prime 4 because I have one with the Prime 4. I have one with the Prime 4 Plus with streaming. We did a little testing on that. But I have videos on both of them. Yeah, so check it out. Did you review the Hercules T7 yet? No, because I haven't gotten it yet. I'm getting it soon at some point. You know, it is what it is. It comes when it comes. But yes, I will review it. I will use it. And I hope that it's a good board. I do. I really do. I don't want any board. People think that like I'm looking for like, ooh, let me look for the drama. I don't want a bad board. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of their time. That's a waste of my review time. That's a waste of me having to go out and talk trash. That's just more trash. I don't want to talk trash. Give me a good board. So, you know, for the price, you have to dumb down your feelings of what it is and what it's compared to. You know, I did the same thing. I've told this story, but like when I was first doing reviews, it was during the pandemic, and I reviewed like the Rain 70, you know, the S11, the 72, I think the Rev 7, and then they're like, hey, we want you to review some new Mark stuff. Like, cool. And I got like a mixed stream, like the first gen mixed stream, or it might not even been the mixed stream. It could have been the other one, the two small ones that came out. And when I tell you, I started doing these recordings, the videos, and I was going and breaking things. I don't like this, and I don't like this, and what is it? Why does it do this and this and this? And I looked back at my video. I was done with it. Done with the video. Now time to go edit it. Pulled in the content. It was over an hour long. I started editing the content. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I trying to compare this board to the board that is 3 to 4 times more than this board? Why am I even spending this much time on a $300 board or $400 board? What am I doing? So I went back and reshot the whole video. And it made more sense because you have to look at things from multiple points, you know, quality, who it's marketed for, who it's supposed to be for, entry level, price point, like all of these things affect your review. You can't take a little mixed stream and then compare it to Rev 7 and be disappointed that it's not doing the things that the Rev 7 does because it's a $300 board and it's not supposed to. You know, when I pick up a $300 board and I'm like, ooh, there's some flex in the jaw and the knobs or whatever, or it's doing this, or the mic is just okay. It's the $300 board. It's supposed to be that way. So I had to kind of step back and start looking at things that way. So the T7 is the T7 is what I'm talking about. The T7 is a $700 moving platter controller. But when it's all said and done, it's still $700. So I'm not expecting it to do what a Rain 1 or a Rev 7 does. It comes closer to the Rain 1 than it does the Rev 7, but I'm not expecting it to because it's not supposed to. It's a $700 board. You know, if somebody buys a MacBook Air and somebody buys a MacBook Pro and they're like, hey, they're not the same. They're not the same. And that's okay. They do different things, but they still get the job done. So that's where I am. DJ Rollo says, I'm here. And they could have the new Rain 8 controller is coming out. The Rain 8 is coming out. Okay. Look, when it's all said and done, this is a capitalistic based thing that we have here. You know, United States, England, you know, it's a capitalistic economy. So there's always going to be some new stuff coming out. Always. I mean, naming convention wise, I don't know what Rain 8 even means. I mean, in my opinion, it would be a Rain 4M, you know, Rain 4 Mobile, you know, Rain 2M. You know, I don't think they need an 8. I don't even know what that says. So, look, they have what they need right here. They have what they need. It's already there. Okay. All they got to do is tweak Rain 1, turn it into the Rain 2. Now it has internal effects. The mixer section, a little bit bigger. I think that would sell like crazy. There's a lot of people that just want, you know, a 2-channel mixer. These people that keep saying, I like it better because it's simple. Okay. It's always simple. A Flex 10 is simple if you don't use any of the stuff that's on here. When it's all said and done, a Flex 10 is a crossfader and an upfader and knobs and a master volume. When it's all said and done, that's it. Everything can be simple. DJ Rugged says, but In Music better be at NAMM since they were absent this year. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Just so we're clear, In Music has been absent at every single convention for the past 2 years. I think the last time they were at NAMM was 2020, right before the pandemic. They have not been to another conference since then. This is a marketing budget decision. I don't know what you would call it, but it's definitely not. This wasn't something that they were just like, oh, we missed it, blah, blah. They decided to not go. And I truly believe it is hurting their products. It is hurting their sales. Maybe I'm wrong on this. You know, I know they have an agreement with Beat Junkies. So Beat Junkies booth, which happens to be like directly across from Pioneer DJ, they utilize Rain products there for the most part. But nobody really sees it at Beat Junkies. So I think they're doing themselves a disservice. Terry should ask Mojax if they're coming to NAMM. Yes, we're both coming to NAMM. That's the plan anyway. Unless something unforeseen changes, we will both be at NAMM. In fact, I got to make sure I got all my NAMM stuff set up. But yes, we will both be at NAMM. Okay. A couple more questions and then I got to bail. Got to get out of here. Got stuff to do. I just remembered I have something to test. I totally forgot about that. I got to do that. In Music is pretty faceless. Yes, this is true. In Music doesn't have anything worth showing anyway. They're like Behringer of DJ products. I don't know that I agree with that. I think they have a lot of gear. I mean, the facts are they do. In Music is huge product wise. They are in dire need of Okay. It must be very frustrating to come out with a piece of gear and people are saying, hey, that's great, but when are you coming out with the one we want? Like, it must be exceptionally frustrating. I could only imagine how that must feel. And I think that's kind of what they're sitting on. Like, wow, the Rain 4, that's great. Why aren't there moving platters? What's not supposed to be moving platters? No, I understand. I get it. That's great, but I want one with moving platters. So when are you going to come out with that one? Because that's the one I want. I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. So there's that. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Okay. A couple more questions and I got to go. But it's fun to be mean to DJ controller companies. Oh, no, Scott. I completely agree with you on how they take over companies and what they end up leaving the company with. I completely agree with you. Rain. Whereas in general, I do believe it's hard. Rain was struggling before. They were just struggling with what, like, after the 62 and the 64, and then they went back and made that god awful abomination, the 61. Like stop. They were struggling. And then Pioneer came out with their S9. It really did mess up the game for them. So I believe they did have to sell. But when you sell, you want to make sure that the right intentions are there. And I think that the right intentions were there, but I'm not sure who is the final sign off on the design, on everything. Like, this is what we need to do. This is our focus. This is our roadmap for the next 10 years. This is what we're doing. So there's that. I also believe that the Serato purchase or sale to Pioneer DJ, sorry, not Pioneer DJ, Alpha Theta. I do believe that is played into this. It is played into it. I do believe that. So I think that this NAMM or whatever gets released around NAMM, even if they don't go to NAMM, they're going to release product. Everybody releases product. It might be before NAMM, might be right after NAMM, but let's just assume that everybody stays the course that they've always done and they are releasing product. It's going to come out. The question is, first off, is it going to come out with Serato? Or are they going to just kind of decide to finally move on and make that Rain 4 mobile with Engine OS built in? That's what I want to see. I want to see a Rain 1 and a Rain 4. The Rain 1 with Engine OS would probably be enough on its own. So I'd like to see a Rain 2 with Engine OS. That's what I think. Scott says we are reaching the end point of we are reaching the end point of DJ tech. Are we? Or are we just not imagining what else could happen? Look, I think I don't know that we've reached the end point. I think we're at a good point technology wise when it comes to, all the stuff we're doing. But look, we're continuing to see things. I mean, the one thing that we don't want to see is the thing that's happening is all the automation, all the AI. I know that AI, there's a couple of companies right now that are utilizing AI. There's a company that just contacted me that wanted me to review their product. I think it's the one that Digital DJ Tips did. I'll test it. I saw that. I think it's the same one that Carlo did. And I don't want okay. This is a hard thing to talk about because We want technology to improve, and we want all the automation and the cool things that it does, but we also don't want it to take over and then take over our jobs. We don't want that. We don't want to lose out on our jobs, because I've said it already. There's already writing on the wall for a number of DJ positions out there. There's a number of positions with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of AI automation that the people will be out of business. The people that work gyms, the gym DJs, the clothing store DJs, the mall DJs, all those people within the next 5 to 10 years, going to be irrelevant. They're going to build in the AI to be smart enough to DJ all of these things for you. It's going to be smart enough that when, because like I used to do F45 all the time. And then, you do say 3 or 4 hours of DJing, and every single instructor has a different vibe that they want. So they'll come in and say, hey, can you do this? Come back. Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? You're like, sure, I'm a good ass DJ. I'll do it all. But there's going to come a point where they're going to be able to walk up to the computer and say, hey, I need an 80s mix for today. That focusing on rock music with a little bit of hip hop, sitting at ranges between, 114 to 130 beats per minute. And AI is going to go, and then that's it. Done. Okay. Jameson Reese says, I don't think AI can analyze the crowd. I'm not talking about the crowd. Remember, it's very specific. I'm not talking about the crowd. I specifically said there are going to be positions in DJing that are going to be out of business. Gyms, where there's normally a DJ there, but doesn't need it. Mall people, all of those things, it won't be necessary anymore. AI will be good enough. That's the key. Yoga, fitness, exactly. Those are all good enough. Good enough. The most of the time, people complain every time I get to the gym or I get to a place and they're like, I'm just so sick of hearing the same music. That's because they're using the same playlist. But if AI can go, oh, you want the top 30 songs this month? Okay, cool. Here you go. Oh, you want us to go back and give you the top of that? Cool. Oh, you want 80s, but you want to sprinkle in a little 2000s hip hop too? Okay, cool. It's already there. There just hasn't been that person that just said, all right, I'm ready to kill DJs. Now, absolutely. DJs read crowds. That is a selling factor, is exceptionally important. And if you're doing a wedding, if you're doing a bar mitzvah, if you're doing something corporate, absolutely the DJ is 100% relevant. Absolutely. But if you're not, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's jukebox 2.0. And DJ Farns, this is an excellent statement. Excellent. DJ Farns says, I see a lot of promise in AI for library management, organizing libraries and playlists. Okay. Perfect. NRDM. Shit. Okay. 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 AI library. We absolutely love the way AI has been helping us in business, helping us in, crafting stories and emails. And now the AI is creating your library and making it to where, it's a good library that everybody can use. Here's the problem. Everybody can use it. So you're going to end up being when everybody starts sounding the same. I'm not talking about, every DJ, everybody DJs differently. I'm not saying that. But when it gets to a point where musically everybody's playing the exact same thing, Nobody's going out on a limb. Nobody's taking any chances because, well, that's what the AI said you should do. And that's how you learned. And now your AI, I feel the same way about things like, even like, look, crate hackers, as good as it is, the ability to dig in crates is what makes you a good DJ. That's the ability. I mean, that is where the fundamental, the foundational skills are there. That's why people that aren't even that good at scratching can still be really good DJs, because they're really good at pulling music that people did not think they wanted to hear. Drew, thanks for hanging out today, Pam. Pam. You know, Pam. So that's the biggest issue. You know, fundamentally, that crate digging. I go back to where I was when we're talking about the youth generation right now, you know, and participation trophies. Everybody's entitled now. It's the same thing for DJs. If everybody's feeding you music, this is the stuff that works. This is the stuff that works. And you're just playing what people tell you. When are you going to develop your sound? When are you going to develop that thing that when I hear you DJ, I don't even need to know you're in the room to know, oh, that's so-and-so. When are you going to develop that sound? If people are always just giving you music. I'll give you a perfect example. You know, so my son, obviously my son's a DJ too, and we did a lot of DJing together. But what I have noticed as he's been DJing and DJing events for me in my company, what I've noticed is that there's a lot of transitions that he does now that were mine. Because when I made his computer, I just cloned my hard drive. I just literally cloned my Serato and he uses it. So, you know, when people are like, oh, wow, he's really good. I'm like, yes, he is really good. However, he's better because of me. He's better because of my crates, you know, my ability to put the right music in the folders so he doesn't have to look forever to find music. If my crates weren't good and he had to just look for music, he would struggle like crazy. Because I've done part of the job for him. You know, because I come from the old school, you know, there are routines in my head that are just ingrained in my head that I can just pull off and just literally start searching for songs and pull the list up and just do the routine. Because that's from old school, going through records and just having the records and having, you know, I mean, it's just a different time now when everything's just readily available to you, you know? So it's just different. It's just, and again, I'm not holding him, you know, I'm glad that he's as good as he is. Great. That means that I'm clearly doing something right across the board. So that's good. Always let him know that he owes you. I agree. I just want him to be able to pay for his car payment. That's why he works. Like, go out and work. I'm giving you free money. Just go do the job. You know the job. Go do the job. It's easy money. Easy money. You work 4 times a week. You make more than people that work full-time jobs at your age. Like, just come on, man. Just take the easy money, please. But I can see AI helping with unique remixes. Okay, Jameson says, well, up your game as gym events or similar events and analyze the crowd or work directly with gym owners and managers to beat AI. Most gyms don't want to even bother with AI. Gyms do not want to let's just call it out the way it is, okay? Look, I'm not saying that you can't go and make a niche for yourself. I'm not saying that, okay? But let's just talk about general things, just generalities here, okay? You say that, you know, most gym DJs won't even bother with AI anyway. Most gym DJs won't have a job because AI is going to be there. AI is going to be easy. Everything right now is being placed out there. All this AI, all this chat GPT, all these people coming up are utilizing this stuff. So trust me when I tell you, they will try to do that with DJs also. 100%. And you can be like, hey, fine. Let's do the argument for a second here. Okay. I'm a DJ, which I am. I walk in to this gym and I'm like, hey man, I want to DJ your event. I want to DJ your Saturdays mornings from 7 to 10. Fine, cool. Which is why I stopped doing F45 too early in the morning. I'm a grown ass man. But let's just say, fine, we do that. The gym guy goes, cool. How much you charging? Well, you know, for this 3 hours, whatever. I mean, I don't know. You know, maybe you pay me $300 to $500 a month. You know, every Saturday, $300 to $500 every Saturday. He's like, okay, cool. You start going in there. You're doing your job. You're kicking butt. You're a DJ. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Jameson, we'll talk about that last thing next because I think you're incorrect, and I'll explain why. So then he sees you. Then, you know, maybe the gym owner from the top down, because a lot of these people are owned by bigger umbrellas, and they're like, hey, we're starting to do this. You don't have a budget. You no longer have a budget for the DJ for that amount. So we're going to give you this AI thing where you just kind of set your own parameters and it will make the playlist. It will mix them for you, do all the things. And it only costs us $100 a month, maybe $200 a month, maybe fine, $500 a month. Okay. Not $500 every Saturday. So they've gone from spending anywhere between, $1,000 or say $1,200 to $2,000 a month to $500 a month. I'm a gym owner. You know, I'm not running 55 gyms. You know, money is money. So I'm okay with going, you know what? This is good enough. This is good enough. Best, good enough, good, crappy. Most people will choose good enough if it matches their price point. Most people might want a Ref 7, but they end up with a Ref 5. Why? It's good enough. And it's going to take a hell of a lot for somebody to say, well, I know this is, you know, $1,000 or $1,100, but the Ref 7 is $1,800. Is it $800 worth more? For me, yes. For a lot of people, good enough. So Jameson says AI cannot even analyze music tracks for key and BPM. It has to rely on historical data. That is incorrect. That is absolutely incorrect. Because what do you think it's the new DJ Studio does that? Key is a very easy thing. You don't need to do too much. The stuff's already in the metadata. All right. In fact, I will say this. AI is a better curator than 90% of the DJs out there. It's already happening. You just don't see it. Okay? When you open up Spotify and you open up Apple Music and you're saying, I like this song, I don't like this song, I play this song a lot, I play this song a lot, and then you get to a point and then you look in your little thing, it's like recommended songs for you. And you go on the recommended songs, you're like, well, that's bomb, and that's bomb, and that's bomb. Why? Because they know you. They know what you like. Now, let's take this on a global scale, then let's ratchet it down. Okay? You ratchet it down, say country, state, locale, northern versus southern, and you start taking all that data, because it's all data. Everything we're talking about here comes down to data. How you play music comes down to data, right? Yes, you might be trying to, you know, supply people with music they haven't heard before, but it's all data, okay? If you go to a nightclub and they didn't hire you specifically, you're using data to play for that club. It's organic data, but you're using data, okay? I'm looking around, you know, I see, you know, a range between 21 and 50. Your internal data says, okay, this is the kind of music that they like. So if I go to my AI generator and I say, this is my age range, this is the music I want to play at my venue, and I don't want to play this stuff, it's going to do a good enough job. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? This is reality. But Every single Spotify right now could put most DJs out of business if they really wanted to. Honestly, you guys aren't thinking big picture. Right now, Spotify knows what songs you love, what songs you play over and over again. It has a geographical database of all the music that is being played. It knows what areas like certain music. It knows how long people stay in that music. It knows when somebody skips to a song or skips forward in the verse. It knows when somebody backs up the verse and keeps playing. It has all of that data. It could legitimately put us out of jobs. Honestly. I'm just, you guys, look, you got to be able to see the writing on the wall. Again, Spotify doesn't know anything about me when ski comes up. But like, I'm just saying, like, us as DJs, we're going to be fine doing literal people events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate. There's going to be things that aren't going to change for that, because people understand, the dynamics. You're being hired for more than just being a DJ. It's your personality. It's the way you spend. It's your vibe. It's the energy you bring to a party. It is your musical knowledge, but it's also your sales knowledge. All of these things, that's going to remain. But anything that is remedial, it's gone, will be gone. So, make sure you stay niche. I do restaurants 2 to 3 times a month, restaurants and bars. I do them. Restaurant, they don't really, don't get me wrong. They're coming up to me. They love what I'm playing and all that stuff. They could get away with it. They could. If you have one smart person that works for your company, one smart person that's like, hey guys, we don't need to pay for these DJs anymore. What do you mean? There's an AI service that'll do that. I just have to, curate and write the script out, and it'll do it for me. Well, how do you know it works? Well, I love music. I'm a DJ, and I'm gonna curate all of your stuff. You think you're getting paid a good amount of money for this? You just put 60% of the DJs out of business, but you're making money. This is like the slave trade. Like everybody's always like, the Africans sold all the slaves. It's their fault anyway. No, there's a few people that are making money off of this, and then the rest on the boat. You don't think there's a reason Spotify will be out of business when it won't matter? It won't take Spotify. I'm using Spotify as an example. It won't take that. You just need general data, and there's lots of companies out there. Lots of companies. Hey, sorry to be doom and gloom. There's plenty of work for us, but there's just little things. And let's be fair here. A lot of times you'll go do these gyms and all that stuff, and you'll get up at 8 a.m. and you're DJing from 8 to 11, and you're exhausted anyway. You don't really want to be there. You're playing songs longer than usual. It's just they don't need you. But there's going to be times when they will need you. Hey, we're bringing in a real DJ for the Halloween party, for this or for that. Oh man. So anyway, look, I'm just telling you what the facts are. And the more that these companies come out, like DJ Studio, it's a DJ Lab, with AI built in and all these things, the more all of these things, they're like, we're trying to help DJs. This is Skynet. You're literally inventing Skynet, and then you're wondering why the world has just blown up. Everything that's out there right now, they have AI that literally can practice law, that has passed the bar. They have AI that's doing psychology work, where you need like counselors and things like that. They have AI that does that. The health industry has pulled AI in to help them with like the remedial tasks. If somebody's calling, they have a problem, whatever, the AI is doing that now, because people were like, I'm not talking to a real person, am I? But the AI, makes you believe that you are. All of these things are gonna, I don't know. I honestly don't even know how we're going to even be, not us specifically, the human race, 20, 30 years from now. 20, 30 years from now, most of these jobs, we're going to need just a universal income, universal basic income. Chang was right when he ran for president. That's what's going to happen. All of these companies are trying to get rid of us. You got self-driving cars, self-driving taxis. That's coming. It's just a matter of time. AI can't be a gardener. There you go. Yang. Thank you. Not Chang. Yang. Thank you, DJ Mac Attack. And what do you mean AI can't be a gardener? You can get AI to mow lawns. They got a damn Roomba, for God's sakes. They already have lawnmowers that will run on their own. I mean, like, trust me. You guys seen Wall-E? It's going to be us. It's going to be us. They got dolls now that you don't even need you don't even need a partner. You got your doll you don't want to argue with. Your doll doesn't argue with you. We're doomed. It's funny to me that as much as I'm glad that the strikes ended with the Motion Picture Academy, I'm very happy about that. But one of their arguments of like, we don't want AI writing scripts. Why not? I mean, I get it. You'll be out of a job. But how is that their fault that the AI is better than you? If the AI is better at writing scripts than you are, the problem is you, not the AI. Make better scripts. Think outside the box. When they made the Drake AI song, and then Drake was like, "Oh, cease and desist. We got to sue now." He wasn't mad because AI made his song. He was mad because AI made a song better than his. That's the key. Nobody cares about AI when it's doing just good enough. They care when it's better. And right now, AI is, ChatGPT, which one? Was it 5? They won't even release that one. Because they say it's that good. And of course, look, I know it's just a deep learner, but the bottom line is that, hey man, this podcast is AI generated. I am little glitches, just random. One day. Anyway, that's enough about doom and gloom. I have to go figure out why I can't get 2 front boards that are equally matched at my office. So, what do I have this weekend? I haven't been working. I've been sending my crews out and been getting video for my parties, for my MCs and stuff like that. Where am I at? I am at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events. 6 events. I'm going to be in Newport Beach, not even DJing. I will be reviewing my DJs to see how good they are. It's been eye-opening to be able to kind of go out and just see how my DJs are doing. G Diesel. Just to see how they're doing, because it's really important as a multi-op owner that you see what people are doing when you're not around. It's important to see what people are doing, from a packaging, from a sales, you want to make sure you're able to say that, hey, you know, my guys over here are as good as my guys over here. So you have to be able to see them. Do you critique them on the spot or later on? So in general, I only critique if I see something that is just bad. You know, if I see like, hey, why are you going here? You know, but for the most part, I don't critique. I don't even critique my son. Like in the beginning when he was shadowing me and then he was working and I was standing right next to him, I'd be like, oh, don't play that. Oh, go here instead. Oh, look at the crowd. You see this? You're going to want to drop to this one. Or, hey, that's a good song, just not the best song to start off with. Start off with this song and then go back, you know. And now, over the last 2 parties, I had to say one thing to him because we were doing a bar mitzvah and the kids were real difficult. And I'm like, look, but they were all girl things. Just start out easy. Start out with your Taylor Swifts, your Miley Cyruses, you know, your lip glosses and all that stuff. And but that was it. You know, it was a learning experience for him because he had 13-year-olds and like 60-year-olds. They were all 60 and above. So he's like, oh man, like I'm like, yeah, you can't really play your standard pop set that you normally do for that big set. You got to go older. You got to go disco. You got to go little Motown. You got to go back to the 80s, you know? And I'm like, good luck. I'm not standing around you. You have to learn. You need to fail in order to get better. And if I stood around him the whole time saying, play this song, now play this song, now play this song, he's not learning. He's not learning. He's learning to listen to me. He's not learning for himself. He's not out there going, hey, what do I need to do to be better? So and I'm not going to let him fail. I'm not going to let him bomb, you know, but in general, all my DJs are allowed to make mistakes. They're allowed to make bad song choices, you know, and all the things. And they make a bad song choice. I wait for the next song. Where are you going after this? Because everybody makes bad song choices. We're DJs. We're trying stuff. But where do you go after your bad song choice? Okay, smart. You went here instead. Cool. We're all good. So I don't try to critique them because if you critique DJs, some DJs are super sensitive and they'll just fall apart. So I just sit there and, there's a couple of DJs that are very good for us. They have bad hands. You know, there's some train wrecks here and there. I'll take a train wreck. If people are still on the dance floor screaming the music, it is what it is, you know? So everybody's different. You know, that's the way I do it. I'll believe it if AI gets a new shuffle dance song. Yeah. Okay. So, so this weekend I'm just out there videoing some MCs and, that's it. No DJing. I don't like to go multiple weeks without DJing just because I get a little sloppy. Not sloppy in the sense of like, oh, you suck at DJing, but like, oh, I haven't really been staying apprised of like the kids' music because the kids' music is the hard part of DJing bar mitzvahs. It's not everything else. The kids' music, staying current with that, staying current with SoundCloud rappers and regular people and the standard pop and Spotify people. And because, you know, all those playlists they're typically different, you know, so it's really that kind of stuff that like you have to stay on top of. So, so that's why. But besides that, I'm going to Orange County, and Orange County is kind of they're kind of backwards. I don't know if anybody's here is in California. I know G Kenny is, but it's funny the way it works. LA, you know, Calabasas, LA are all like cutting edge. So when you're playing music, you got to play new stuff. If you're in Calabasas, you got to play like super, super new stuff, remixes. You're going deep into the SoundCloud rappers. You know, you're going deep into the YouTube people, like all that stuff. Right. The more you travel south down towards like Orange County, San Diego, you know, even like, you know, Arizona, the more conservative and old school they get. So you know, the music that you're playing for Calabasas and LA and like the west side of LA, they haven't even heard of in Orange County or in San Diego. It's just a funny thing. The funniest thing that I love is when we get booked to do, because we do a lot of Bay Area events in Vegas. When we get booked for Vegas, you're like, we want this, and we want this to be cool. We want this to be the coolest thing. You're like, dope. It's in Vegas. It's at this nightclub at the hotel. This is amazing. And then you get there, you start playing all this cool stuff. They don't know it. They don't know it. Vegas is so backwards in the way. Every time I do a party there, I'm just like, oh my God, you guys think you're so cool, and you are not cool. You are 2 years behind right now. It's the funniest thing, so it is what it is. You got to learn. But I can tell you something. AI would know what kind of music they listen to in Vegas versus what they listen to in LA versus what they listen to in San Diego. I know that much. All right, y'all. I think it's time to go. I've gone on way longer than I anticipated. That's what happens when you start bringing out gear and stuff, and then it just kind of extends on. But thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate all of you, all the members. By the way, I don't even know where we're sitting at number-wise, but make sure you hit that like. And if you are trying to support us, join the membership. I accept all forms of flattery and love and financials. So thank you so much. Hope everybody has great parties this weekend. You better have great parties. You're sitting on my channel. I don't want to see people I don't want you to come back and be like, I had a horrible party. Why? Because I didn't listen to anything you said. So have great parties, and we'll see you next Thursday. All right. Peace out. Peace out.